Hey bestie, if you are feeling overwhelmed by that constant juggle of work, family, life, and that little voice in the back of your head telling you to take care of yourself, you've come to the right place. I'm Alanis, your habit tracking BFF, and you are listening to Down the Habit Hole. My mission is to help women just like you master their chaos through the power of habits. So go ahead, grab a little drinky drink, and listen up as we dive down the habit hole together and talk through productivity, burnout, decision fatigue, and everything in between. Hey, happy Monday, and welcome to a new week and another episode of Down the Habit Hole. In the past week or so, I've had a bout of some inconsistency in my routines due to some outside factors and life stressors. And within that, I learned a few things about myself and how falling off the wagon a bit in my routines honestly started to affect my mental health and even made me question whether my habit tracker in general was really serving me in the ways that I needed it to in this season of my life. I really believe that consistency is the queen in achieving lasting change and reaching even the biggest and most audacious of goals. So let's leave behind the shortcuts and quick fixes and hop right into it. If we're being honest, we've all been there. You set a goal full of motivation and excitement. Maybe it's learning a new language, getting in shape, or finally mastering that sourdough starter. You crush it for a week, feeling on top of the world. But then life gets busy, motivation fades, and suddenly your goal is collecting dust in the corner of your mind. Sound familiar? This happens because these days we live in what's known as a microwave society, where we all just want instant gratification and quick fixes. And then we're bombarded with these promises of effortless weight loss or learning a language in 90 days or less. And I know that the allure of a shortcut or easy way out is very strong. But the reality is that these approaches rarely deliver lasting results because frankly, they're just not sustainable methods. They tend to rely on extreme effort for a short period of time, which ultimately will usually lead to burnout and inevitably abandonment. Plus, let's face it, life happens. Unexpected events, competing priorities, and flat-out lack of motivation can derail even the most well-intentioned of plans. But here's the secret. It's not about never missing a beat. It's about getting back on track after a setback. There is some science behind why inconsistency holds us back. When we repeat an action consistently, we start to create neural pathways in our brain, and these pathways make that action easier to perform over time. That's why tying your shoes today probably doesn't require the same level of concentration that it did when you were 7 years old. Consistency is the key to building these pathways and making our desired behaviors automatic. So what's the alternative? Small wins, my friends. Focusing on consistent, achievable habits creates momentum and progress over time. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but with each turn, it starts to gain size and speed. That's the power of small, consistent habits. Let's think about compound interest, but not for your money. Although that's pretty cool too. But the concept of compound interest applies to habits as well. Small, consistent actions repeated over time can lead to significant results. For example, maybe your goal is to read one book a month. And you can start that by just reading 10 pages a day, which might seem insignificant, but over a full year, that translates to 3,650 pages, potentially dozens of books. Now, in an effort to hit a little bit closer to home for you, let's get specific. Think right now about what kinds of small habits you can start to incorporate into your daily routines for all of the different goals that you have. For weight loss, maybe it's taking a walk every day. If you're wanting to learn a new language, focus on 10 minutes of vocabulary practice every day. If you're looking to feel more gratitude and joy in your life, start a gratitude journal and write down 3 things every day that you're grateful for. Okay, so now that I've convinced you that the power is in the consistency, how do we actually make these habits stick? The answer is routines. Creating routines that integrate your desired habits is the key to long-term success. So here are some tips for building consistent routines. Start small by focusing on 1 to 2 habits at a time. Trying to overhaul your entire life overnight is way too overwhelming and you're almost guaranteed to give up and revert to that quote-unquote old you. Treat your habits as if they're really important appointments. Use a daily or hourly planner to literally block out specific times in your calendar for exercise, reading, meditation, whatever your goals are. Track your progress by using a habit tracker, an app, or even just a simple journal. Seeing your progress visually is really powerful in keeping you motivated. Celebrate your wins. Did you stick to your daily walk for a week or finish a chapter in your book? Acknowledge your success with a little treat, no matter how small, even if it's just 10 minutes of scroll time on social media or a 15-minute nap. Forgive your setbacks. We all miss a day here and there, so don't get too discouraged if you miss a workout or you don't have time to get your reading in for a day. Just get back on track and keep on moving forward. And lastly, create accountability. I do have a caveat for this because I do think that telling a friend, family member, or online community about your goals is helpful, and yes, having someone to check in with you keeps you motivated. However, I have found for myself that nobody has ever been a better accountability partner for me than me. Quite frankly, there's not a single person on this earth that cares about me and my goals as much as I do. And I've always found it to be so empowering to be able to show up for myself day in and day out over counting on anyone else to play this role for me. So let's see how this works in real life. My friend Sarah wanted to become a yoga instructor, but she felt overwhelmed by the training program. So she decided that the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, and she committed to at least 15 minutes of yoga practice every single day, no matter what. Over time, she built up not only some consistency, but also a lot of confidence in herself and her expertise. Fast forward a year later, Sarah is a certified yoga instructor and is even leading her own classes. Now let's address some common obstacles to consistency. If you're feeling like you're lacking time, maybe it would be helpful to batch similar tasks together in an effort to free up some time for your newfound habits. For example, maybe you take 10 minutes at a time twice a day to answer all of your emails at once instead of checking them constantly throughout the day and feeling inclined to respond to each and every one of them immediately. If you're feeling overwhelmed, try breaking down large goals into smaller, more manageable steps. If the thought of a 30-minute workout is intimidating you, start with 10 minutes a day and gradually increase that duration over time. Or if you're starting to feel bored with your routines, find new ways to make them more enjoyable. Try listening to your favorite music while you exercise, or join a book club to make reading more social and incentivizing. Remember that you can make excuses or you can make big things happen, but you cannot do both. The key to achieving your long-term goals lies in consistent, small actions over time. Focus on building sustainable habits, celebrate your wins, and don't be afraid to get back on track after a setback. Small steps, consistently taken, lead to big results. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one small habit that you can start implementing today to move you closer to your goals? Leave a comment or DM me on Instagram at downthehabitholepod, and we'll share it with the community. I firmly believe that there's room for every single one of us to win, so let's inspire each other today. You are capable of achieving incredible things. Believe in yourself, stay consistent, and watch your goals become your new reality. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Down the Habit Hole with me, Alanis Van Duzer. Remember, you're not alone in this journey to balancing your chaos. Join me over on Instagram at Down the Habit Hole Pod, and don't be shy, slide into my DMs. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode, answer your burning questions, or even just have a little chat. Plus, if you share this episode on your Instagram story and tag me at Down the Habit Hole Pod, I'll be picking one lucky listener each week to win Starbucks on me. Until next time, friend, may your coffee be strong and your to-do list be short.